Chapter 7, Iggy on Wheels. After Iggy's birthday, a big parcel arrived at the door. It wouldn't fit through the letterbox because it was too big. It was very exciting. "What can it be?" Dad said, and Mum said, "Who's it for?" Dad read the name on the front and then he frowned. "That's funny," he said. "What?" Iggy and me and Mum said at the same time. Dad scratched his head and looked at the parcel again. "Flo and Iggy," he said. "We don't know anyone with that name, do we?" I said, "Silly," and Iggy said, "Give it." Dad put the parcel on the kitchen table and we crowded round. Mum said, "It's from Kate." Kate is our auntie. She is Mum's sister. She lives in America. "What's she sending you stuff for?" Dad said. "It's not your birthday again, is it, Iggy? It's not yours now, is it, Flo? Did we forget? Are we terrible parents?" We started ripping at the brown paper. "Like wild animals," Dad said, and he tickled us while we were trying to rip. Inside the brown paper were 2 shoe boxes, all done up with tape. On top of the shoe boxes was a card with a picture of a granny on a skateboard. She was wearing a flowery skirt and a cardigan and glasses, just like our granny does. The hedges behind her were all blurred, like she was going really fast. It looked funny. Mum turned the card over. It said, "Dear Flo and Iggs, I saw these in a sale and I thought of you. Don't let Mum and Dad borrow them. Kate. Kiss, kiss, kiss." Mum got the scissors and cut the tape for us. We opened our boxes. Inside were shoes. Black and pink trainers with big pink laces. "Cool," Iggy said. I took a trainer out the box. "Why are they so heavy?" I said, and I turned the shoe over in my hands to see what it was made of. Mum's mouth dropped open and Dad put his hands over his eyes. I laughed. The trainers had wheels in the bottom. "Cool," said Iggy. Iggy and me kicked our ordinary shoes off right there and left them where they fell, even though Dad is always telling us not to do that. He says that his worst thing to do at night is trip over girls' shoes in the dark. He looked at Mum and says, "I'm talking to you too." We put on our new black and pink trainers with wheels and we stared at our feet in amazement. They didn't look like ordinary shoes. They didn't feel like ordinary shoes either. They had a life of their own. They were more like magic shoes that might take you wherever you wanted, any minute, without you even asking. I have always dreamt of having some of these. "Wow," I said. "Wow," Iggy said like an echo. I felt myself moving. I grabbed hold of Mum so I didn't roll away. Iggy grabbed hold of Dad. "Wow," said Mum and Dad. The floor in our kitchen is made of big black tiles. Mum says they are very good at not showing the dirt, and Dad says they are very cold when you come down in the morning with no slippers on to make the coffee. I say they are very hard when you fall over on your bottom because your shoes have wheels in. Iggy and me fell over on the hard floor a lot. Shoes with wheels in take some time to get used to. After a bit, Mum and Dad stopped letting us hold on to them because they had other things to do. Mum said, "I've got to get some work done." Dad said, "I have to make Auntie Kate a thank you card." Iggy and me made a route across the kitchen with places to grab onto. We went from the table to the fridge to the cupboard with the cereal in it to the sink. From the table to the fridge was the longest. That's where we had the most falls. But we kept practicing. We practiced for ages. Instead of saying, "Ah!" we started saying, "Wee!" And we started going from the table straight to the cereal cupboard without even stopping at the fridge. "Did you see that?" we said to Mum and Dad. Sometimes they did and sometimes they didn't. And sometimes our feet rolled out from underneath us with no warning or anything. And we said, "Did you see that?" from down on the floor. We didn't get bored, not even once. Later that night, we phoned Auntie Kate to say thank you. Iggy said, "They're the best shoes ever." Auntie Kate said, "I know, I just couldn't resist them. I wish they made them for grown-ups." "We'll be really good at them next time you come to visit," I said. "We'll come and visit you at the airport on wheels." "Ooh," said Auntie Kate. The floor at the airport would be perfect. How perfect? Iggy said. Why? All smooth and shiny and no bumps, Kate said. And big so you can skate for miles. When are you coming? Iggy and me said together at exactly the same time. Not for a while, she said, but keep practicing and be on the lookout for good floors from now on. After that, even though we weren't allowed outside yet with wheels on, Iggy and me became experts at floors. Everywhere we went, we imagined what they might be like to skate on, and every day we told each other what we found. Pavements would be tricky, I said. Too many cracks. The school hall would be fun, Iggy said. Imagine wheeling around in the assembly. The playground would be juddery, I said. The playground is sharp, she said. We'd have holes in our knees. The supermarket would be good, I said. They've got smooth floors. True, said Iggy. And trolleys to hold on to, I said. Supermarkets would be the best. Supermarkets, I know, said Iggy. But we were wrong. On Saturday, Mum and Dad said we were going to see some art. What sort of art? I said, and Iggy said, I don't like it. What don't you like? Said Mum. Iggy said, art. I don't want to. Dad laughed. He said, how come you spend half your time drawing if you don't like art? I like drawing it, Iggy said. I just don't like looking at it. Well, we do, Mum said. So let's go. Can we wear our wheels? Iggy said. Mum and Dad looked at each other. Mum's look said, no way. And Dad's look said, oh, go on, let them. So they did. We were right about the pavements. They were tricky. The wheels made it a clickety sound over all the joins, and sometimes it was hard to roll anywhere. We had to pick up our heavy feet and walk on. On the bus, my legs kept rolling away from me when we turned the corners. It felt funny. We got off the bus by a big brown building. We stopped under a giant spider. The spider had eggs as big as football high up on its tummy. I looked up at the clouds through its legs. Is this the looking at art place? I said. Mum and Dad said, yes. They said, your sister's looking at art already. I'm not, said Iggy. Suit yourself, said Dad. No, Iggy said. I mean, and she suddenly grabbed my hand like something important had happened. I'm looking at the floor. The doors were opening and shutting as people were coming in and out. The floor inside was grey and shiny and enormous, and a hill. It sloped down all smooth, and the ceiling got higher, and then it went flat. It could have been made for shoes with wheels. Heaven, Iggy said. Dad said he could think of another word for it. What's that? I said. Mum said, never you mind. We went through the doors and Dad said, OK, let's see what you're made of. Me and Mum will go and stand at the bottom. Are you sure about that? Mum said. Will you catch us? I said. Dad said, if we have to. Mum said, don't go too fast. I wasn't sure how to do that. Iggy and me stood at the top of the slope and watched Mum and Dad walk down it. They got quite far away. There were people everywhere. I wasn't sure how not to bump into them. Do you think this is a good idea? I said to Iggy. Iggy didn't look at me. She was looking at Mum and Dad way down at the bottom of the slope. She said, do you want to go first? I don't know, I said. This is going to be really fast, she said. I asked her if she was scared. No, Iggy said, but I think she was lying. Neither of us moved. Mum and Dad were pretending to fall asleep. Dad put his hands under his cheek like a pillow and shut his eyes. Mum acted like her knees weren't working. Will we be all right? Iggy said. I think so, I said. Shall we count to 3? Iggy said. OK, I said. 1, 2. Will you hold my hand? She said. I took Iggy's hand. It was all warm and fidgety. I took a deep breath. 3! We were fast. Whee! We said. We were so fast that we were at the bottom before we knew it, and we could hardly remember how we got there. We didn't fall over, and we didn't bump into anybody, and we didn't let go of each other's hands. Again, again, Iggy shouted as soon as we stopped. I don't think so, said Mum. Why not? I said. We have to, Iggy said. She was holding on to Dad and wheeling around in circles. I think you're in trouble, Dad said, and we turned to see where he was looking. A lady in a black uniform was walking down the hill towards us. She was looking at our feet and she didn't look happy. Iggy stopped wheeling. She stopped blinking even. Is she the police? Iggy said. Her cheeks got very pink. I held Mum's hand. It's all right, she said. Don't worry. But not worrying was very hard. The lady in the black uniform walked right up to where we were standing. She looked down at us and I looked up at her. Iggy wouldn't look. She had closed her eyes. You mustn't do that, the lady said. I nodded. You'll have to take the wheels out while you're here, she said, and Dad said, OK. Sorry, said Mum. Then the lady in the black uniform smiled. It's OK, she said. Iggy opened one eye to see if she had gone yet. You're very good at it, the lady said as she walked away. You went very fast. Iggy opened both her eyes. Her feet slid around a bit underneath her, but she didn't look pink or scared anymore. That, Iggy said to me, was the best floor ever.